Hello everybody, this is the Vikstrand. Today we are going to talk about a cultural icon. Because when it comes to iconic movie posters and things that people may have on their walls, Scarface may be the most popular movie poster to have on your wall. But apart from that, the movie poster I've seen the most of in people's home is of Bullitt. The 1968 cop classic with Steve McQueen as the titular character is believed to be one of these cultural milestones. It's one of these iconic movies that was way ahead of its time and is regarded as an absolute classic. And I will now tell you why I think that is not the case. The movie is an absolute milestone and has a reputation of having one of the greatest car chases of all time. Now, as a car chase connoisseur of some description, I feel the need to say that I don't think it is quite as good as they are saying. But we'll get into why, shall we? And let's find out why I think this is a bit flawed movie. Not a bad movie, but it's not going to be a fully throated endorsement of the 1968 movie. So let's find out why this movie is not as great as people claim, shall we? This is Bullitt. So Steve McQueen plays Bullitt. He is a police officer in San Francisco, and he gets tasked by, babysitting a criminal before he, is gonna stand trial and stuff like that. Seems pretty standard. But in a weird little accident, he is killed. And now Bullitt has to find out, who killed him and why. And this is basically our movie. He has this, very reluctant witness that he's dragging along and won't, report because he doesn't know who to trust. This movie hinges very, very heavily upon that you enjoy, like, and sympathizes with Bullitt as a character. Now, if you're comparing him to, let's say, Dirty Harry, played by Clint Eastwood, I will say that I will much rather watch Dirty Harry. He's a larger-than-life character. He's a bit out there, but I just found Bullitt to be a bit dry and a bit uninteresting as a character. He's a weird mix between, the more thinking as man's police officer like Columbo by Peter Falk, which is also a character I find more interesting than Bullitt, and the more no-nonsense cop that Dirty Harry was. He's a kind of a weird mix, and he is a little boring. I mean, the car is awesome, and as a fashion icon, Bullitt is absolutely untouchable. But you have to do better than that. The story is a pretty standard cop movie. It feels a bit like a TV movie, and the tension is really never there, and we're just, moving along. The movie just moses along in its sort of medium pace, and stuff happens, and then nothing happens, and then some new stuff happens. We're never that quite entrenched in the story. And I never truly became, obsessed with finding out what this, crime was and why he was murdered and stuff like that. And then the ending happens, which is a bit flat and a bit deflating, and the movie's over and we all get to go home. And I just thought that Bullitt is a little bit overrated. And when it comes to the car chase, and I have to say, wait, don't say it, I'm gonna have to say it. I think I'm actually gonna have to say it. Don't you dare say it. Don't you dare say it. It's also a bit boring. It's a bit overrated. God damn you. God damn you. Listen, it's iconic, it's very nicely shot, and if I remember it correctly, it's also completely without music. But do you know what it is also without? It is also without any form of suspense or interest. In fact, it's actually a bit boring. If you're comparing this one to French Connection that came 3 years later, when Popeye Doyle was chasing, you know, the murderer, you were in on it. You felt like you were there. You felt like you were present there, and you cared about whether Popeye Doyle, you know, got this guy or not. Steve McQueen is just running away from some shady characters in other vehicles. They're very nicely shot, but it is also, they're just driving around a bit and then we have a crash. That's it. Now, I do not require that all, you know, car chases should end with flipping cars and, you know, huge fireballs. But comparing, you know, French Connection and this one just makes me want to watch French Connection rather than Bullitt. Bullitt is a cultural milestone. Bullitt is a classic. I just wish that I could see what other people see in this movie. I wish that I could enjoy this movie as much as people, you know, apparently enjoys it. I mean, it sits on a very solid 7.4 on IMDb, and you know, it doesn't do that just by being iconic, I guess. So apparently I do not see what other people see in Bullitt. And to be frank, apart from Steve McQueen, there isn't a single character in this movie I could remember, you know, by heart. I have no idea who played anybody else except him. And as I said, while Steve McQueen is a very, very, very good actor, and while he's a cultural icon and all that good stuff, I still don't care that much. It is possible to not care about Bullitt, in my opinion. I am probably 100% wrong with this one. It is not a bad movie. It is just one of these movies when I'm beginning to see it, I'm thinking, this is the moment. This is the time I'm going to understand why this movie is so fucking great. And then when the movie is over after 114 rather long and, you know, dragging minutes, I look to myself and says, well, that was a movie. And if you haven't never seen Bullitt, I would advise you to see it. I do recommend it because it is an important movie to, you know, movie history, and a lot of, you know, the tricks and stuff like that we take for granted today with our cop movies probably was invented in this movie. But as the old saying goes, just because you're first doesn't automatically mean that you're best. Sometimes you are, but sometimes you are not. I think that you should watch Bullitt and make up your own mind, but be advised, it is not a very exciting movie, and there isn't a lot of stuff happening, and you don't care that much, and you're not invested that much. At least I wasn't. I so wished I could give this movie more than 44 points, but I can't. It is an okay movie, and the car chase is very well done, and everything else about it is just kind of there. It feels like a TV movie, and nothing else about it screams classic in my opinion. This is just one of these movies that goes right over my head, and I have no idea how to process it properly, I guess. So I see you from so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.